come back to observing within. And let's try to become more aware of the process that creates us. We observe, we're looking from within a location that seems to be located somewhere around the brain. So this awareness is floating, it's not attached to any specific place in the body, but it's floating and observing from within the head. So we come back to observing. And what are we observing? We're observing an energy field that spreads throughout the body. We're not observing the body. The body itself is different than how we imagine it. But we're observing a field of energy that our imagination is drawing. Through this field of energy, we have the capacity to move our limbs, our organs, to increase or decrease tension. And so the awareness that is above is observing all the energies being created within. And within this space of awareness, we reveal to ourselves information through thought. So we're constantly discovering reality by communicating with ourselves in the form of thought. Then there's a reaction to that thought, and the reaction is a feeling. A feeling that comes along with sensations. And the result of all this is the alignment of our hearts. Based on the communication coming from beyond in the form of thought, the feelings were activated, and the heart is having an experience. And so in a sense we might say, the one having the experience is the heart, the one observing the experience is the brain. The brain reports to the heart. And so the brain, the head, is the place where we're attached to all the different structures that allow us to navigate reality. The head is like the control unit. And what does it control? It controls the heart and all the organs that support the heart and allow the heart to manifest its desires. So in the heart resides the nefesh. The nefesh is the part of the soul that is present within the body. And she lives in the heart. In the brain lives the neshama. The neshama is the intelligence from beyond that attaches us to the source, that can guide us to the source, that can guide our heart to remember itself. So in the brain resides the neshama, the seichel, the part in us that can distinguish true from false when it has the appropriate settings. And so the thought, the neshama, the world of neshama, the neshama speaks through the thought. The world of neshama represents the creator, while the nefesh, the way that we feel within, represents the individual, represents the created. And then there's the communication between the two, which is called ruach. This communication has two different parts. It has the part that is closer to the creator, represented in thought, and the part that is closer to the created, represented in feelings. And so this communication is there to align the creator with the created. This is the purpose of the communication. And so we have three organs that are going to interpret the information coming in through our senses. The brain, the neshama, can tell the difference between what's true and what's false when it has the right settings. The heart will say what it loves and what it hates. So what's true and what's false, that's the collective, that's from the creator. What we love and what we hate, that's personal, that's the individual. That's in the heart. And the liver will say if it's pleasure or pain. The liver is the one that can distinguish. To the brain, it's all information. To the heart, it's all emotion. But to the liver, it's already involved in the practical aspects of running the body, and therefore it distinguishes between pain and pleasure. And so when a person has the right relationship with the Creator, when the communication system is aligned with reality, then what will come through will be truth, love, and pleasure. But when communication is disrupted by whatever type of hang-ups, and life has plenty, then what will come through will be inaccurate in one of these tests, or maybe in all three. This is the most common to find in a culture that's blind, is that the information that's available is false, filled with hate, and causes pain. Because nobody has the vision to realize the poison that the soul is being fed. And so to align ourselves, to align the nefesh through the ruach with the neshama being the representative of the divine himself, chelek elokam imal, we want to align each of our organs to represent reality accurately. So in order to do so, we want to first remove our misconceptions about what's taking place, to remove the information that doesn't pass the three tests. In order to remove information that doesn't pass the three tests, we come back to observing. We come back to knowing nothing and simply observing what's in front of us. And then that's our place. That's our place of repentance. Regardless of what went wrong, we always come back to the same place. Regardless of what went right, we always come back to the same place. That's home. That's the silence from where we operate. That's the silence that nobody has any right to violate. It doesn't matter what happened outside. It doesn't matter what the senses are saying. The silence is sacred because the silence is the reason why anything matters in the first place. All the information is only as relevant as the one who is silent and how much he cares about that information. So by returning to silence, we can observe more clearly whatever presents itself, to see how it's affecting our energy, how it's affecting our body, how it's affecting our spirit, our motivation, our joy, our desire for life. And then everything that happens is making us better. Either we're learning what we like or we're learning what we don't like, and both are making us better. They're making us more accurate, more aligned with reality, more true. Truth is how we can coexist. If we only respect our own truth, then there's no common ground for others to participate in our reality. And so when we align with truth, we're opening up to the collective. It's the only place the collective can meet, is in truth. There's no other way to define reality so that we can meet other than by the truth. And the truth is the collection of all the spiritual interpretations that humanity has covered reality with. That truth is the doorway to what's beyond all the interpretations of humanity, what's in that space that humanity cannot touch. Because from that space comes everything that humanity can try to decipher and understand, but really it's all coming from a place that humanity has no access to, not when they're in their physical bodies. So that place is what makes us sacred, not what's taking place here. We come back to realizing that there's a truth that liberates us. Whether we know that truth or we don't know that truth will liberate us. It will liberate us from all the lies that we've been told. It will liberate us from all our fears that are based on those lies. Simply by knowing our nature, we will be liberated from all forms of suffering. That's the reality we were born into. It has nothing to do with what we do or we don't do. Achieving that liberation, aligning with truth, that depends already on what we've done and what we haven't done. How much have we damaged our ability to perceive the truth? There might be all types of processes that need to take place, but the truth is still there. The truth is still what it is, whether we can realize it or not. It will do what it was designed to do. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Return to observing and turn to allowing. Realize that everything your body is doing, it was designed to do. It's not something that needs to be consciously controlled. Everything that needs to happen is happening. The place where we can go wrong, if we want to even believe it in that sense, is when we believe it wrong, we approach it wrong, our attitude is wrong. And then still, everything will happen exactly the way that it's supposed to. And within that wrong is the right that's going to make it right. Everything already has the way back designed from within it. Because This was designed in a way where we cannot fail. We cannot fail because He cannot fail. Who's He? He's the one that became many. If we go back in time far enough, everybody according to whatever number makes them feel secure, eventually there's only one. And we are all Him, because never did there anybody else come into the picture. There's nowhere from where anybody else might come into the picture. So we're Him, but we've long forgotten that we're Him. And all our organs were designed so that we can rediscover that we're Him. It's a very important message He has for us. That we cannot have an identity as an individual. It's simply not possible. Because we're the same thing that became many things. And that's the only truth. There is no other source of identity. Identity is a concept. He can wear concepts, but that doesn't change His essence. He can wear an identity, but He's still the same one. He can never be anyone else. There can never be anyone else. And so all the thoughts, all the fears, all the imaginations that make humanity believe that there's something else, someone else, are simply concepts. Concepts that when humanity matures, they will no longer buy into. Because those concepts are not aligned with the truth. They're not aligned with reality. They're not aligned with love. They're not aligned with pleasure. They're the opposite of all three things. And therefore they make humanity weak. When our organs are getting the wrong information, they become weaker, they become conflicted. And so we want to remember who we are, so that we can align with reality, so we can align with the truth. So at least we don't offend the truth too much. And then our soul, which is the truth, which resides in the truth, can reside in us comfortably, can reveal to us her secrets. And her secrets are about how to be her better, how to be her more, how to align with what's real. We come back to observing, and realizing the nature of this experience. If it looks anything similar to what it used to, then we're not seeing it. We're just seeing an image our imagination has gotten used to drawing. But when we see, when we observe reality itself, then we, the identity of something separate than everything, disappears. Because the identity is a thought. We're either experiencing or we're thinking. If we're not thinking, we're not constructing an identity. And therefore we're one with everything. And that's the true nature of reality. That's not something that requires our belief in order to be true, but it requires our belief in order to participate. Our experience will be what we believe. So if we believe things that are not aligned with our organs, then we experience experiences that are not aligned with our organs, internally and externally. And so the truth about who we are, the truth about how we became, is obvious. The intellectual information everybody can observe. But to experience life from that perspective, to believe it within our hearts, this takes tremendous devotion and practice. Return to that space. Return to observing reality and allow this realization to penetrate your heart, to become real, to become the basic reality from where you live your life.